Here.
Freeholders Henley.
Here.
Freeholders Door.
Here.
Chairwoman Fox.
Here. A quorum being present, will everyone please rise to the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We thank thee, O Lord, for the opportunity of gathering together in this manner. We pray, O Lord, thy presence during the deliberations of our Board of Chosen Freeholders. We thank thee for the vision that makes it so that rather than staying at home, that our freeholders have come, and in this case, have come to Rutherford. We pray that all that is done may be done to thy glory and thy honor. May, O Lord, decisions and discussions that are held be for the benefit and well-being of our county, and that may it be pleasing in thy sight in terms of not rightness, but wholeness, completeness, and community. In thy name and for thy sake we pray. Amen.
Thank you, President.
Thank you for the opportunity. And I would like to take this opportunity to indicate that our church has been a part of this Rutherford community for just a brief. We're a young church. We've been here 122 years. And it's been a joy in joining in with the other churches in the community, churches, temples, houses of worship, in order to hopefully be like the salt of the earth. And I've enjoyed, as pastor, being a part of this community for over 40 years, and I joy in serving, and we joy in being a part of Bergen County, and I take this opportunity to continue to wish the Board of Chosen Freeholders the best in not only their deliberations and all, but as you move forward, as long as it used to be said or was said at one time, I have to live with myself, and so I want to be fit for myself to know. I want to be able, as days go by, always to look myself in the eye. I don't want to be a bluff or empty show. I see what others may never see. I know what others may never know. Thank you.
Thank you. And Zoe's Cupcake Cafe, which provided job training for these young women. Though Children's Aid and Family Services absorbed the enterprise in 2014, Mrs. Bidler remained committed to the teen moms. Thank you.
March 25th, 2015, public session, all present.
The ayes have it. May I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will now have the meeting of for the hearing for the general public with a 3-minute time limit in effect. The board attorney will keep the time. When the time of the speaker expires, the timekeeper will announce the time has expired. Please fill out a card like this if you wish to speak, and give us a kind of idea of the topic that you're interested in so that we can keep a good flow. Assemblywoman Marlene Curry.
Good evening, everyone. Excuse my back, please. Chairwoman Moss, wonderful to see you, members of the Freehold Board. I'm here to welcome you to District 36. I am so pleased that when you took the meeting out on the road, so to speak, that you decided to come here to Rutherford first. I think it's wonderful to bring these meetings down to the local level so that people that can't make it to the county see what exactly our freeholders are doing for us. You can see it here at a local level. In my 4 years as the Assemblywoman of District 36, I don't think I've had the pleasure of welcoming you before, and I look forward to being able to welcome you to many of my other towns here in District 36. So again, thank you so much for being in District 36. Thank you for choosing this wonderful room to have for you. It's a lovely chamber. I've always said it, and I wish you all the best, and please continue to bring these meetings to the local level. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much. Good evening,
Stephanie McGowan, Councilwoman, Borough of Rutherford. Chairwoman Voss, members of the Freeholder Board. First of all, I wanted to say thank you for choosing Rutherford. Welcome to the beautiful Borough of Trees. Tonight we have other members of our council and the mayor present to welcome you to our town. And thank you for thinking of us. South Bergen County often gets lost in the shuffle. And it's very sad when issues come up that we know are very important to us and somehow seem not to be addressed. And the fact that you chose Rutherford to give us this opportunity, to give our residents of Rutherford and those of South Bergen the opportunity to come and see you and speak to you and share with you what we believe is important means a lot. I think will go a long way in us building relationships going forward. And again, I'd like to welcome you to Rutherford. Thank you.
Thank you. Marge Madeira.
Spell your last name, please. M-O-D-E-R-O. Okay. I'm a parent of a young woman with disabilities, and that's been a hot topic in the paper lately with housing and all that. That's also an issue in Southern Bergen County. We really don't have any housing or apartments that are designated for the adult disabled population. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here because of dealing with the Bergen County Board of Social Services, and it's very difficult. I've had issues come up where Medicaid, I don't know if anybody here has Medicaid for the senior citizens or the disabled population, but it covers day programs, home health, they're dependent on these things. When an issue comes up, like the government canceling at the last minute Medicaid for my daughter, I have to deal with the Bergen County Social Services. It is a nightmare. It is a nightmare. You call, you're actually desperate on the phone because the next day the daughter's going to lose services. And you're telling them that. You're calling many different numbers, leaving the same message. No one returns the call, and you never get a person. Never. So I go down there, and I happen to find someone that I knew, and she was able to help me. But if I hadn't run into her, I don't know where I would be today. In other words, they give you letters that say if you have any questions, like with food stamps or anything, to call. You never get a person. Never. You never get your answers. In order to get anything done, you have to take the time off and go down there and sit in the line and try to find somebody to answer your questions. It is a nightmare. And I've been in this system for a long time, and there's a lot of people coming up through the system, and we need some help. And I don't know if there's an advocate to go to. I don't know of anybody to call and say, I can't get through. Can you give me a number that I can really talk to a person? You know, it's a nightmare.
I will definitely convey your situation because I was sitting on the Board of Social Services as a freeholder, and I was
Chairman, if I may?
Yes.
Yeah? Hi, I'm over here. I'm sorry to make it a well. I both the Freeholder Sheldon and I currently do sit on the Board of Social Services. If you ever have a problem, if there's ever an issue, we are your advocates. You can call my office, 201-336-6281, and we will make sure that you get a response. And we will make sure that you can get in contact with the person and that we can try to help you get to the root of your issues. That's one of the roles of the Board of Chosen Freeholders, is to be your liaison to county government. And so that's part of what we are here to do for you. So please feel free to reach out to me at any time on these issues, and we'll try and help you get an answer.
Thank you very
Madam
much.
Chairwoman?
I'll be taking some phone calls tomorrow.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I'd also like to give you my phone number, ma'am. Oh,
Mr. Madera.
I'd also like to give you my work phone number. It's 201. 201-336-6277. Again, I sit on the board with Freeholders. I'm Tom Sullivan. And having a sister-in-law that uses the Board of Social Services often, I know how hard it can be, and that is what we are here for. So if you don't get me on the phone, you'll get my aide, or you get Tracy's aide, Storm, and we will definitely take care of you. Thank you.
Aren't you glad?
Oh, I'm so glad.
What good stuff?
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for calling me. Claudia Stock, Fair One. Last time I spoke before the Freeholder Board about the IZOT Center, I realized there are more pressing problems in society with high unemployment and people facing problems with Medicare and Social Security. But I love show business, and I've been involved in the entertainment business for over 35 years as a sideline, and I want to do everything I can possibly to bring it to the attention of the public that it should be reopened eventually, and it shouldn't be. We shouldn't have to wait 5 years or 10 years for it to be reopened, and it should not be torn down. I did mail a copy of my letter to the editor of the local newspapers. I mailed a copy to Governor Christie, and I would like to give to Lisa that she should make a copy for all the freeholders so they could see what I wrote. The Bergen Record refused to publish it because they're not interested in my views. But the local paper, Fairlawn Community News, did cut it down. They published very, very little. At least something got into the paper, and I'm happy about that because there are some people who read the local papers. Now, I don't have anything more to add. The building is still up. Nobody's torn it down. But I want to make sure that no developer comes in and tears down the whole building without the public knowing. And if the public wants it to be torn down, that should be a decision for the people of the state of New Jersey and the government leaders, because they might want to tear it down and build a new arena. I understand that. I cannot make that decision. I don't make the decisions running our national government or state government or county government. That's why we elect people to do that. We elect you to make those decisions, and I have full confidence that all of you will be with me on trying to reopen that building and not to tear it down, be ashamed to tear it down. So this is, yeah. All right, I want to thank you for your listening to me on this issue. I really appreciate it.
Joseph Dunsey.
Hi. Several days ago, I submitted a resolution that I understand is in the process and won't be on the agenda today because I missed the deadline. But I had to make a couple minor corrections, so I brought an updated copy that I'll give after I read it, and I also brought a fact related. So this is a resolution recognizing the Day of Shock, and reads, whereas the FDA wrote in January 2011 executive summary that the possible physical side effects of ECT include prolonged seizures.
Side effects of
ECT include prolonged seizures, cardiac arrhythmias, brain damage, skin burns, physical trauma, fractures, cardiac ischemia, prolonged apnea, headaches, muscle soreness, nausea, vomiting, dizziness, pain, and death. Whereas the FDA also listed confusion, mania, and persistent or permanent memory loss as a possible psychological side effect of ECT in its 2011 executive summary. Whereas many patients are not fully informed of these side effects when they agree to undergo electroshock therapy. Whereas concerned activists will gather for a day of shock on May 16, 2015 in dozens of locations in the US, Australia, Canada, England, Ireland, New Zealand, Brazil, Chile, and Uruguay to raise awareness about the dangers of electroshock therapy. Whereas there will be a day of shock gathering from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on the Green in Hackensack on May 16, 2015. It therefore resolved that the Bergen County Board of Freeholders recognizes May 16, 2015 as the International Day of Shock. And I brought a printout that another activist made with a fact concerning ECT. Turns out that 50% of non-consenting patients who get ECT are over 65, and 75% of these patients are women. So unless you're in favor of strapping electrodes to little ladies and sending over 400 volts of electricity through their heads against their will, I expect that you'll be passing this resolution.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that freeholder Gantz arrived.
Madam Chair, if I may, my office has submitted that resolution to you for review by the agenda committee.
Okay, thank you. Lenny Nix.
Lenny?
Mr. Nix.
Lenny?
Mr. Nix.
It's your turn.
Nick Hackensack. I asked you last meeting, what are we doing about the Court Street Bridge and why it doesn't open?
Mr. Nix, I had the opportunity to meet with our county engineer, Joe Femia, this week, and we seem to be making progress on that particular bridge.
I can't hear you.
Okay. We are making progress on the Court Street Bridge. I met with Joe Femia, the county engineer, earlier this week on that specific issue. There obviously is a history to that issue with respect to whether or not it was an issue dealing with the actual manufacturer and the actual device itself.
If I open and close, if I have a boat, that bridge can open so I can go up the river.
In the future, yes.
Okay. And we're working on the Midtown Bridge. I got a plan for the bridges. They shouldn't open, it should be set so boats can go over. I hope that's not going to be a turnstile bridge to Midtown Bridge. and then you have the Anderson Street Bridge. They all have to be built so sizable boats can go under there. Not this turnstile. That's the way Court Street Bridge you didn't even need if you would have done a Midtown Bridge. But that's a whole other story with Lonigan and Eastern Concrete and political donations. Because now all that does is take all the traffic and throw it into Hackensack. Eastern Concrete and too many mistakes have been done in the past with the freeholders and local government. And as far as I know, from what I see, and there are a lot of good things going on, but all I see is catch up and let's straighten up the mess we did. Hackensack River is a classic example, and the bridges and neglect of the river. And it's little by little it's going to happen, but I don't see politicians doing it, because they haven't done it in the last 50 years. It's going to take people and private equity money that's going to start spending money for things that build a better country, better town, better county. The county with its $150 million justice center, DPW, I don't know how that's going to benefit me. The detention center is another disaster, and the things that the school at the end of Teterboro runway. I mean, the county has really put some projects together that are an abomination. And with the Court Street Bridge, there's more to come. Keep your 5 minutes. You really don't want to listen to them all. Put that in the record.
Okay.
You don't want to listen to them all. You want 5 minutes. Period. That's another thing wrong with this freeholders board. You don't want people to talk.
David, pardon if I pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Say it properly so our reporter can.
It's David Zicchinella.
Spell it.
Zicchinella.
LL.
Hey,
Thank you. Sorry.
no problem. Thank you very much for having the meeting here and letting us speak. I am representing a group that was recently formed here in Rutherford about a month ago called Save the Williams Group. We started a Facebook page. It's about 890 followers in the last month. And about 3 weeks ago, we started a petition to build awareness on the Williams Center. And in that 3 weeks, we have about 1,150 or so e-signatures on change.org, and another about 215 or so live signatures. And I have just 4 copies, unfortunately, of those signatures. The reason why our concerned citizen group was formed was due to the lack of progress, neglect, and underutilization of the Williams Center here in Rutherford. It's a unique property that could be an anchor for our downtown if utilized, but due to whatever reasons, it's not being utilized, not being funded, not being repaired, leading to some action recently to create a redevelopment zone, or look into a redevelopment zone. Our concern is this would lead to condos, retail, and other space. And the short of it is, we want to express our reasons why we think this is an important resource. And let's just go over that actually. There's 3 basic areas. There's the benefits to Southern Bergen County, Rutherford. There's the actual need for this. This is not a rehabilitation for rehabilitation's sake conversation. This is an actual need. There's a couple of facts we want to cover. The benefit clearly is to the Southern Bergen area having a performing arts center that can attract patrons to our town, to help revitalize the downtown, support the businesses in town that are mostly restaurants, and have that foot traffic. As a municipal facility for graduations and school productions and municipal use and school use, for not just Rutherford, but the entire Southern Bergen area, and as well as revenue generator for town with having events there without increasing the burden into our schools by creating additional housing. More importantly, this is a unique facility of Bergen County. It's the only facility in southern Bergen, one of, I believe just two in Bergen County, that's being underutilized. In terms of the need, if you look at the study recently in the report where Montclair was named the top 15 downtown, the reasons cited were a downtown, retail, an arts, a really thriving arts community, as well as the Wellmont Theater. We can replicate this at some level here in Rutherford with the Williams Center.
Chairman, there are several people who wish to speak on the same topic, so instead of having just one person speak to everyone, I'd like to have everyone have an opportunity to speak. Okay?
No problem. Thank you.
All right, thank you. When Pastor Bob.
Which one? Quinn, Q-U-I-N-N, Cassavelli, C-A-S-S-A, V as in Victor, A-L-E. Good evening. I am a relatively new homeowner and resident of Rutherford with a strong desire to see it prosper for my family and for my fellow neighbors. Therefore, I stand behind the movement to see the Williams Center restored to a fully utilized arts facility. As someone who has spent a lifetime in the professional theater as a performer and a teacher, I believe that theater can immensely enrich people's lives. There is no other experience quite like it in the world, and that is why it has persisted for thousands of years. It is the most immediate art form, and when the lights dim and the audience quiets, magic occurs. It happens live, as theater artists live truthfully under imaginary circumstances that often hold a mirror to our very existence. People go to the theater and they find out who they are and how they fit in and how they feel connected to all those who came before and will come after. William Faulkner wrote, "The voice of the theater need not merely be the record of man. It can be one of the props, the pillars, to help him endure and to prevail." I ask you to make that a possibility for our community, for our children. Thank you.
Is it Daphne Williams Ford?
Hi, Charlie.
Would you tell me your name?
Sure, it's Daphne, D-A-P-H-N-E, Williams, W-I-L-I-A-M-S, Fox, Williams-Fox.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Daphne Williams Fox. I've been in Rutherford 130 years. I'm the youngest grandchild of Dr. William Carlos Williams, the poet and the doctor. He was born here in 1883, lived his life here, practiced here, delivered.
I'm sorry, speak up.
Sorry. My grandfather was born in 1883. He practiced here, he delivered thousands of babies, and died here. My father also was born here, practiced here, delivered babies, and died here. My mother, born here, lived here, and died here. I was born here, my sisters were born here, and we all probably will die here as well. I think as a legacy, the Williams legacy, well, it's part of New Jersey, it's part of Rutherford. It's been here, it's in existence, it's a legacy. I think for me, the importance of keeping the name in the arts is what's important to me. Making it part of this town, staying part of this town. Whatever I can lend a voice to, or especially to the arts, I'm certainly here to do that. My voice can be heard for the town. I'm representing the town, the arts, everything this town stands for. So I'm supportive of what the people of the town want. And of course, the Williams Center is part of my legacy. So what I can do, I'll do what needs to be done. I'll help, I'll raise money, I will be involved as much as I need to be or can be or
anybody wants me to be. I've spent I'm an attorney. I've raised my son who's now a freshman at Northeastern. But the last 5 years I've spent volunteering on many foundations. St. Mary's Hospital, Jersey Hall of Fame, and I've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for many foundations. That's what I do now. So that if I'm here, people's need, I'm here to help. So that's pretty much why I'm here. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Wayne, I'm sorry. Wayne?
Yes, I'll yield my time. I think the other one spoke for us. I'm yielding.
Okay, thank you. Shane Middleton?
I'm in the same boat with David Quinn, they spoke for us.
I appreciate that. It's Annika Siaki. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's a hard one.
It's the handwriting sometimes, and sometimes it's the.
It's Annika like Monica, Chalky, Cioffi. Annika, Annika. I have a couple of points. I'm done. Can you hear me? No. I just wanted to say also on behalf of the Williams Center, we started a Facebook group. It blew up. We have so many people interested. We started a petition. That blew up. There's a lot of interest. In addition, I just wanted to let you know, the difference between today and every other time that folks wanted to renovate this, because I know it's not the first time, is that now we have an opportunity for social media meeting the upturn in the economy. I think it's a really good time right now. And there are many funding opportunities just waiting for this, and now there's a way to reach those people. There's ways to reach their cousins, their friends. So what I'm finding just in reading every comment on this thing is just there's a lot of momentum. I just wanted to let you know that. Also, what would it take to build this thing from scratch? We already have it. The acoustics, apparently, someone snapped in there that had a good ear and said, wow. And that was exactly what happened in the Mayo Center. I think it was a violinist or a man who ran an orchestra in Russia, went in there and snapped and heard the sound and said, we will come here. It took them years, but they did. So I think that it's a diamond in our midst, and it's sitting unused. It feels almost like a crime. So I just wanted to let you know that it just reeks of potential and a lot of history, and it could be the pride of Rutherford and the surrounding area. And let's see if there's anything else. I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Dawn Avignano. Close?
Close. A-V as in Victor, A-G-L-I-A-N-O. The Italian way is Avigliano, but you can say Avigliano. Okay, I wrote my little brief note I wanted to say here on my phone, so that's why I'm looking at it. Hi, my name is Dawn Avagliano, and I reside at 130 Mountain Way. I've been the recording secretary, vice president, and the president of the Lincoln Elementary School PTA. I'm Lincoln Elementary School PTA. Speak up. Sorry. I'm also the current president of the Junior Women's Club in town, and I've been on that executive board for the last 4 years. I am now also a part of a group of residents working toward improving our town of Rutherford. I give you these credentials because over the last 10 years that I've been living here in Rutherford, I've spoken to a lot of people who want to see improvements in our town, for the children of the town, and for the property values for the people who have bought houses here. I am speaking in support of the many needed improvements to the current playgrounds in town. If there's anything that you can do to facilitate that process, there are many needed improvements and repairs, as well as a very important topic that has come up recently, which is keeping the Williams Center an Arts and Theater hub for the town. Refurbishing and renovating the Williams Center to bring it back is a working and profitable center for the arts. A lot of the residents, in fact over 1,300 people, have signed a petition saying so. All feel that the Williams Center is the key to revitalizing the town and bringing new business, which is much needed to the local shops and restaurants on Park Avenue. Please know that a lot of people in this town care about making the Williams Center the best possible arts venue that it can be for concerts, plays, education, groups, restaurants, cafes, the list of possibilities goes on. That's all I want to say. Thank you for your time.
And Lena Merrill.
Thank you for being here tonight. It's a wonderful opportunity. I also would like to speak in support of the Williams Center just as a resident and a mother. And I've served on PTA and also the Junior Women's Club in Rutherford. And I believe the Williams Arts Center could be a jewel in our town. There are many empty storefronts in our main street. It does not need to be torn down for more retail because there's a lot of empty space that can be utilized for that. But I think the Arts Center could be something that's used to revitalize the town and bring that business in, bring people who would shop here and dine here. And I hope that you'll consider trying to fund it. I know there was a plan in place at one time that was abandoned at one point for whatever reason, I don't know. And I know that you already do support the Williams Center with some funding. And I just hope that you would come up with a plan and help us to revitalize it so that it can be used, so it's not sitting dormant. And thank you so much.
Okay, John Hughes.
H-U-G-H-E-S.
Thank you.
All right, John Hughes, Rutherford. Thank you again for coming to Rutherford tonight, and as chairman of Rutherford's Green Team, I'd like to wish you all a very happy Earth Day. Okay, I do want to speak, I love the Williams Center too, but I want to speak of a matter of concern, a safety concern. Today's Bergen Record had both an op-ed and an article on the pedestrian and bicycle fatalities and incidents in Bergen County and how they have risen. And Rutherford's Green Team, at the working for our residents and our residents' concerns, have put forth a lot of great improvements within our municipality. We have a great little town here, and we've got beautiful residential streets, and we sit in a beautiful place. We're at the right at the edge of the Meadowlands, but we're also surrounded by highways. And we're right next to one of the biggest development projects probably in New Jersey right now, which are the improvements at the Meadowlands. And what happens in Rutherford is as soon as there's a tie-up on the highway, those cars jump off the highway and they cut through our quiet residential streets. And they cut past our elementary schools and they endanger our children so much that our parents are afraid to have the children ride bicycles on our streets or walk alone on our streets. They're afraid for that safety. So a couple years ago, our Green Team, working with our residents and with our municipal government, wrote some grants, and we had New Jersey DOT did a wonderful safety study for us. Our municipal government adopted a complete streets policy. And with that, when we redo our streets, we redo them with more safety concerns for our pedestrians and for our bicyclists, because we need to, being in the town that we are, we need to share our streets with the cars, and we need to have the safety for our children. So one of the things that has really come to our attention in these endeavors is that Passaic County has a wonderful complete streets policy, as does Morris and a dozen other counties, but Bergen County still does not have a complete streets policy on its books. And now what this complete streets policy does, it's not a cause to spend more money. It's engineering and it's safety improvements, both of which are done with roads. As far as the engineering cost, when you re-engineer a road, rather than doing it the same way as it was, which could be dangerous, you put in the complete streets improvements into the engineering. It doesn't cost more, it's just different. And the same thing with the road striping. Narrowing lanes, and we've shown this in Rutherford, by narrowing the lanes on Orient Way, we've decreased the traffic speed. We've decreased the speeders. We've increased the amount of people riding bicycles to our train stations. We've increased the walkers and joggers. And these are great improvements for a town. And I would just really like my county
to have a complete streets policy on its books as well. And that's pretty much the point, safety. Thank you so much.
Yes, Merry like Christmas, M-E-R-R-Y. Last name is Fershine, F as in Frank, I-R, S as in Sam, C like Charlie, H like hello, E-I-N like November, Fershine. Resident of Rutherford. Chairwoman Voss and members of the Freeholder Board, thank you so much for coming to Rutherford. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about a quality of life issue at the Samuel Nelkin County Park, which is off of Patterson Avenue. At the Samuel Nelkin County Park, which is off of Patterson Avenue in Wallington. Namely, to speak about the public health issues in the dog runs. There are two very well-used dog runs. I have some photos here if you'd like to see them. But the maintenance is severely lacking, and it's not only a quality of life issue for the people and the dogs, but for passersby and children who play at the playground. The three things I would like to mention is the disrepair of the fences, the lack of mulch, and the dog waste that is left hanging around in the dog runs. Number one, the disrepair of fences. There are holes and pulls within the fences, not only that surround the dog run from the rest of the park, but within the dog run between the large dog area and the small dog area. Some of the holes have been repaired by visitors using plastic bags to tie the pieces together. This is because a large dog recently got through one of the holes and nipped at a small dog in the small dog area. And these are tied together by plastic poo bags, basically. Number two, the lack of mulch that is within the dog run area. Dogs definitely need something that will protect them from the hard ground. It's many months in between times that the county DPW comes to replace that. At this point, the mulch that is there has been pushed into the corners of the dog run area, making kind of a triangular upgrade so that dogs can rise themselves above the actual ground and get closer to jumping over a fence. That is clearly unsafe. Number three, the issue of dog waste. There should be more signage encouraging people to pick up after their dogs and certainly threatening a fine. What I understand is happening that dog owners are leaving their dogs' poo on the ground, and other people are coming, picking up that dog waste with their hands in a plastic bag and putting it on the picnic tables. This has to be a violation of public health. I mean, some requirement somewhere, it's obscene. And not only for dogs, certainly no responsible dog owner would want their dog to track that into their house, and that's why people are doing it, but there are children who come in there. And nobody should be putting a water bottle or a snack for a child on the picnic tables, which has recently had bare dog waste. And that is it, and so I have photos if you want to actually see that.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Otherwise, people who would like to take a break? Yes. We'll have a 5-minute break.
Can I speak real quick?
Sir, I'm just going to adjourn for 2 minutes because she
Okay, that's fine. I'll get to the
recess.
Colin Millington from Rutherford, Millington.
As the Williams Center, well, obviously, we've been speaking a lot about that tonight. It's a county-owned building, and you guys are the county freeholders. Just quickly, by a show of hands, how many of you have actually been inside? So, a little more than half. Okay. So, obviously, you've seen what needs to be done. Clearly, the emotions there, the feelings of the town are there to have this done. We just wanted to know, is there any sort of commitment from you guys tonight or moving forward that this can be done?
Tonight we came to listen.
Okay.
Yes.
First of all, I'd like to thank all you guys for coming out tonight and letting us know your feelings about the Williams Center. I know that the county executive, who's only been in office for a little over 100 days, has had meetings regarding the Williams Center already. I'm going to pass it off to the administrator, who will confirm that. And I know that there's been no plan, but I know there has been discussions with Rutherford and regarding the Williams Center and with the administration. So if you could please maybe elaborate on that.
My pleasure, Freeholder. And I do thank you all for your comments and some of the insights that you've shared with us this evening. As the Freeholder Chair indicated, we're here to listen, and this has been a good opportunity for us to hear directly right here in Rutherford your comments about the Williams Center. Just a short note on my background. I'm well aware of the history of the Williams Center. I have been with county government over 25 years. So I date back to the Bill McDowell administration. So I've been around a while. I know the history. I've been in and out of the Williams Center for years, and I know the different conversations that have taken place about the Williams Center over the years and over the course of time. But I can assure you one thing, as Freeholder Tonelli mentioned, County Executive Tedesco's been in office just over 100, maybe 110 days or so, but we already have had conversations about this, and this is clearly an issue where we have to work closely with the borough officials here in Rutherford, as well as with the residents of Rutherford. The Williams Center is part of the fabric of Rutherford. There's no doubt about it. And I understand the importance of the arts and the historical nature of buildings like the Williams Center. I'm a regular at Mayo, Bergen Pack, Tarrytown, Wellmont. I'm there all the time to see concerts, to see shows. So I understand what you're feeling about your hometown theater and the potential that it has here and what that means in terms of the trickle-down, if you will, with the communities, the restaurants, the other establishments. I've seen it at those other 4 locations. So, and the county executive is aware of that. Just bear with us. You know, we're still we consider ourselves almost like a startup company. We're still cleaning up messes from the last administration. But you know what, we're moving forward, and this is clearly on our radar screen, but we're not gonna make any decisions in a vacuum. They will involve you. They will involve this community, because the Williams Center is part of this community and has been for all these years. So with that, I hope it settles you a little bit and lets you know that we plan on working with you and working with this Freeholder Board to make a decision that's right for this community moving forward.
I have to say, very carefully to each and every one of you, and certainly, you know, that's what we came for, and I think our county administrator has said very eloquently. We hope against.
Thank you, Chairwoman. As the longest serving freeholder here,
I've been on the board for 12 years. I have watched the Williams Center come to the board's attention from time to time on various projects, and I've been inside it, been to many things in it in years past, and believe that if the county is going to own it, the county has to keep it in good repair, and the county has to make it up to code and make it available for the things that a facility like that can do. I'm not suggesting that we take action tonight. This is a listening tour after all, but I want to say that I have stood four square for Williams Center with former Freeholder McPherson, who educated me on it on my very first day on the board. Thank you, Joe.
Anyone else? Mr. Beesbuck, you had your turn. Okay, and so
Madam Chair?
Yes. Freeholders.
Thank you.
The mayor's going to speak.
Oh, okay.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who spoke up as well. This is one of the important reasons why we are on the road. Perfect example is the Williams Center, where the land is owned by the town, but the facility is owned by the county. I will also vouch for the county administrator's concert-going ways. And this is the time to really have a dedicated conversation and continue the discussion. We're entering the budget season, and as you know, everything does come down to dollars. But certainly we heard you this evening, loud and clear, and I know we're all going to take this very seriously. And I did want to mention that the words of Quinn Casavalli were wonderful and so true, and it's something that we are moving away from, and we just can't let that happen for our children. So thank you.
Mayor Joseph DeSalvo. Thank you. First, I do want to welcome you to Rutherford. I wanted to speak last. I knew some of our residents were here to speak about the Williams Center, and I did have some comments for them, but just standing in the back and hearing the comments that you've been here for 20-some odd years. Freeholder dance. I'm a freeholder for 12 years. Why haven't you done anything? Does it take a meeting where you have to come to Rutherford? I've been trying to get something done for 2.5 years. I did meet with the previous executive and also with Mr. Tedesco. And I keep having to wait for answers. It's been several weeks after several meetings before. You all say that you're going to do something, but when? I know you're not going to make any decisions tonight. I know that. But many of you have been here for many years. You raised your hands. You were in the Williams Center. I have more than the problem with the Williams Center in the way it is. You guys shut it down in 2010. We have engineer reports that there may be structural problems there. I have a fire department that's worried if this place goes on fire, and I have to worry about that. And I'm sure you guys worry about first responders as well. But that's one of our main concerns with that building. It's in disrepair. Sprinkler systems are going off all the time. The fire official is in constant communication with the fire official in the county about what are we going to do. Sometimes we have to shut it down where we can't even use the theaters underneath, the movie theaters. So what I did, I took a proactive approach, formed the Economic Development Committee to start looking at that area in need of redevelopment. The problem is, a need of redevelopment study makes everybody think we want to knock the building down, take the name away. We don't want to do that. And as I said to the county executive, if he wants to do it because he said it's an asset to the county, you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a year there. That doesn't seem like an asset to me. Okay? It's an asset to Rutherford to revitalize the downtown. Right. We had that vision. The council and I, we started the Economic Development Committee, put it together. We wanted an area in need of redevelopment. We got the plan. At no time did we want to rip the building down. A lot of you guys heard that from the campaign trail last year, which is ridiculous. If we have to bring politics into this just to get our downtown revitalized. This is very important to us here as you sit. Okay, I would have been the first person to sign that petition. But in my position, I felt that it had to go the way it did. But I just got angry sitting back there listening to this. You're definitely going to do something. Well, I hope so, because we do want these answers. Okay? Now, whether or not the redevelopment, we can renovate that building the way it is now and leave it the way it is, that's fine. The stipulation to our planner was we want a theater component. Yes, there may be some residential. We don't know, it's just a study. Part of the study, we have a public parking where we would like, you want me to stop? I know you don't want me to stop. I know you want me to stop because I sit there.
I'll give you 2 more minutes.
Usually, and most people here know that I never speak this long. But getting back to the point, as I did tell the county executive, if you want the building, do something about it. And that goes for the previous county executives. The last one, the one before that, and every other one before that. They let it get like this. Now it's a burden to you, and a burden to us here in Rutherford. Okay? I got to show my residents that I'm up here doing something. Right? Actions speak louder than words all the time. Let's get something done.
Madam Chair, if I could, Madam Chair.
Mayor, I agree with you. And yes, like I said, I have been with the county for 25 years. I've been in that facility more than I could ever imagine a cow. I've seen performances there. But you also know over the course of time that there has been a difference of opinion about what was to be done with the Williams Center. Despite it being a county facility and on borough lands, I remember a time when a county executive was approached with a plan to raise the building because the merchants wanted parking spots. So over the course of time, I don't think that there's been consistent consensus as to what was in store for the Williams Center long term. And from my position as the county administrator, the buck does stop at my desk and at my boss's desk. So obviously we are concerned about costs associated with maintaining that building. But at the same time, as I indicated, we still believe that it is still a facility in Rutherford, has been part of Rutherford, and we want to work with Rutherford to figure out the future of the Williams Center. But that is not to be made in a week or 2 weeks' time. And quite frankly, the county executive has been in office for about 100 days and has accomplished a number of major things within the 100 days. And quite frankly, we've been working on a budget which is going to be introduced tomorrow. So this is an item that is on the agenda, but is not one that can be made with a snap decision. And like I said, over the course of time, just my own personal opinion, I have seen and heard, various opinions as to what folks wanted us, the County of Bergen, to do with the facility, including raising the building entirely and turning it over into a parking lot for local merchants. And that was a very hot topic for a couple of years. So I can't speak for all the other county executives. They're gone. But I could tell you that this county executive, in his 109th day or whatever it is, has this on his radar screen and is going to work with you and your council and with the citizens of your community in order to make a decision that makes sense for all of you.
Freeholders,
Just really quickly, Mayor. Obviously, there's been 3 administration changes in the last 12 years, both sides of the aisle. Good, bad, depends on where you land. I've been sitting here since 2013. I have every confidence that the new county executive, somebody who ran one of the largest towns in the state of New Jersey, one of the largest revenue-producing towns in the state of New Jersey, will work to come up with a solution in his tenure as county executive for the Williams Center and for other things that are facing this board on the county. You'd be surprised just how many things were left in that same type of situation that is addressing. I certainly would love to see a plan be put in place for a lot of these items that is a substantial plan so that we're not waiting and asking why hasn't anything been done. This isn't the only issue open on a county level that we can say the same thing. But I'm very confident, just by the way the new county executives handle his time on the board, in the office, I'm very confident that he's going to do stuff for this county that's going to be beneficial to everybody. He hears everybody. His policy, his door is open to listen to anybody, any good idea. And I think he's going to come up with a comprehensive plan that everybody's going to be happy with. Thank you.
I say
one more.
Promise. I don't want to be. I want to thank you, and I do agree with you that Mr. Tonelli is going to work with this. But I would ask Mr. Tonelli, County Tedesco. I would ask that we have a standing meeting, if it's once a month, at the same time, going forward with the committee. I will be there. That's what I do here to get things done. The problem is, and I know Mr. Tedesco is really busy going into the new year. It was 9 weeks before I could get a meeting with him. I'm not complaining about that because he has a lot of things to worry about. But I don't need to meet with him. I need to meet with his committee. I will be there to tell me the time, the day, every month we'll have a standing meeting and we'll get things done. Okay? If you should do that for me, I'd appreciate it.
Freeholders on.
Thank you.
Mayor, I just wanted to ask you a question before you walk away. What does Rutherford stand on the Williams Center? Are you in favor of keeping it, or are you in favor of redeveloping the area? Or what is the mayor and council's feeling on the center?
Well, the thing is, the mayor and council really haven't gotten into very long discussions about this yet. But we did put a committee together, the Economic Development Committee, to see where we can go with it. And that's why we're getting that redevelopment plan put together. So we can help the county steer.
When did you put that committee together?
Several months ago.
So it was just a few months ago you put a committee together, right?
Not a year.
Okay.
Not a year.
Do you want?
Before that,
is your intention to your residents here? Are you in favor of keeping it, or
keeping
the Williams Center to have the Williams Center operable?
Absolutely, but it needs to operate. You know, I'm in favor of keeping it. I don't want to knock it down and then have an empty lot. For what reason? If the building can be rehabbed, I'm all for it. If the building can't be rehabbed, then that's for the engineers to decide. County engineers working with our town engineers and everybody else in between. That's for them to decide.
I'm just looking at another option. If your borough's looking, maybe, you know, there would be a sale, or we would, you know, redevelop it, or if the borough was interested in taking it over, just things to talk about in a meeting.
Absolutely. The borough, like, the borough can't take it over. We can't afford to take it over. But we wanted that to be part of the plan, work with the county to give it to a certain, any developer that can come in and work with a plan that we put together that's best for our residents.
You can't give away county asset.
It's not giving anything away, correct? But it would be a developer. If we tell a developer, we have 10 developers here, and we say, listen, this is what we want. We want a component, we want the theater, we want the movies to stay. We want a performing arts center. Maybe 300 seats, not 600 seats. I don't know. I'm not in that.
No, that's what, I just asked you that question so we have a basis when when he's
and we went through this with the county executive, and you know, like I said, if we could sit down, committee together, we look at the redevelopment plan. That's going to give us the scope that we can go to developers with, but we're gonna tell them, we want a theater.
Okay, thank you.
Out of the 10 developers, 5 might walk that we're not building a theater. But then, that's not the guy for us. Okay, thanks.
Okay, may I have a motion to close the meeting to the public? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is closed to the public. Will the clerk please read the resolutions on the consent agenda?
Resolutions on the consent agenda, 335-15, and 336-15, 338-15, 345-15, 348-15, and that should be 357-15, 361-15, 382, through 382-15, and 384-15.
May I have a motion to accept the following resolutions on the consent
So
agenda?
moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Freeholders, Nicola.
Yes.
Freeholders, Luis.
Yes.
Freeholders, Gans.
Aye.
Freeholders, Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholders, Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholders, Sore.
Yes.
Chairman Lavelle.
Yes. Are there any resolutions on the non-consent hold or table? If so, will the clerk please read?
There are, the first one is 360-15, which is a resolution authorizing change order number 2, credit Galilon Construction Corp., maintenance garage, fuel storage, 125 South River Street, Hackensack.
I make a motion on the resolution.
Second.
Roll call.
Freeholders, Nicola.
Yes.
Freeholders, Luis.
Yes.
Freeholders, Gans.
Aye.
Freeholders, Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholders, Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholders, Sore.
Yes.
Chairman Lavelle.
Yes.
Second one is
Cool.
383-15.
Oh.
So moved.
No, we have to.
383-15 is a resolution authorizing to enter into a computer software license installation and maintenance agreement with Asset Works LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Freeholders, Nicola.
Yes.
Freeholders, Luis.
Yes.
Freeholders, Gans.
Aye.
Freeholders, Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholders, Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholders, Sore.
Yes.
Chairman Lavelle.
Yes.
Next one. Next one is 359-15, which is a resolution authorizing to accept as complete Belline Construction Corp. Maintenance, fuel storage, 133 South River Street.
So moved.
Second.
Who's second on that?
Who's the second? Second. Roll call.
Freeholders, Nicola.
Yes.
Freeholders, Luis.
Yes.
Freeholders, Gans.
Aye.
Freeholders, Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholders, Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholders, Sore.
Yes.
Chairman Lavelle.
Yes.
Next one is 360 or 385, sorry, 385 Okay, 385-15 is a resolution authorizing the appointment of Jason S. Nonamaker Esquire to the Community Development Countywide Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Freeholders, Nicola.
Yes.
Freeholders, Luis.
Yes.
Freeholders, Gans.
Aye.
Freeholders, Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholders, Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholders, Sore.
Yes.
Chairman Lavelle.
Yes.
Okay, the next block is going to be 385-15 to 392-15. And you can do those in the block. Does anybody have any comment on those?
speak to one of the resolutions that are there. This is in favor of County of Bergen, and Executive, and the Field Board declaring third week in April National Coin Week. This is very important to the members of the American Numismatic Association, which is the world's largest collecting organization of coin collectors. They have sponsored National Coin Week since 1924 and were successful in 1981 in having the President of the United States recognize this. During the time I've been on the board, I've asked the board each year to sponsor this resolution. I'm a past president of the American Numismatic Association, and in fact, I believe I am a 47-year member, and I'm pleased to offer it to the organization, and I hope that my colleagues will join me in voting in favor of National Coin Week. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Okay. Freeholder, Dean Cola?
Yes.
Freeholder Police?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Janelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
Chairman Fox?
Yes. Do we have to go over the ones that are pulled?
The ones that are pulled were 337-15, 347-15, and 358-15.
We'll now review the ordinance for the first reading, introduction of ordinance 15-11. Will the clerk please read ordinance 15-11 by title only?
Ordinance 15-11 is ordinance authorizing the Bergen County security officers to enforce parking regulations on county property and rules and regulations of the Bergen County Department of Parks.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 15-11?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Who made the second? Who made the second?
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Any discussion on this ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Freeholder Dean Cola?
Yes.
Freeholder Police?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Janelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor? Yes. Chairman Fox?
Yes, ordinance 15-11 passes first reading. We're now going to have committee reports, but just as I had asked the members of the public to keep it to a few minutes, I'm going to ask, because of the hour, that we keep it to at least 5 minutes or less, okay? And Freeholder Tinelli, would you like to begin?
Thank you, Chairman. I'll do my best to cover a lot of stuff tonight. So first, I'd like to thank the Borough of Rutherford, Mayor, Council for welcoming us into the borough. Tonight we passed Resolution 346-15, open space, which brought in $61,561 for the borough. One is to help restore the World War I monument, and the other is to do some audio beautification for Lincoln Memorial Park. So we brought a little money with us tonight. I just want to say, as a councilman for 10 years in North Arlington, one of the things that was upsetting to me was I always felt a disconnect between county government and local government. So when Freeholder Zor and I ran in 2012, one of the goals was to bring county government down south and to expose everyone down here to what we do, and also to hear, like what tonight, you have a local issue that's very important to Rutherford. We have a very important issue in Wallington. It may only be some people may only be a dog park, but that woman was very passionate. So this gives an opportunity, and not everyone will come up to Hackensack. So this was one of the things that we wanted to do, was to bring county government down. We're going to hopefully have 3 more of these in all different parts of the county. But I just wanted to thank Rutherford for welcoming us and letting us hold this today in their chambers. I'd also like to thank the Freeholder clerk and the staff for moving mountains for us. You have no idea what goes on from our work session to our public meeting to put this on tonight, to get everything accurate and to be able to have an organized meeting. So I'd like to thank you all for that. And I'd like to thank all the residents that came out to make comments to us, to bring your concerns to us. An important thing this week, we had the Justice Center article that was on Monday. I brought this up at the work session. We had a very detailed explanation from the DPW, from the administrator, regarding this article and the accuracy of this article. The headline says Bergen County Justice Center to cost more than expected. That's not the case. So tonight it was explained to me, the way it worked was we funded 5 projects at once. So if you think about 5 projects going on simultaneously, not one started before the other. So what happened was the pool of money was used for the projects that were ongoing. Each one had an earmarked amount of money that was bonded for. So it's not the Justice Center that's over budget. It's actually the DPW project in Paramus that's over budget. We found tonight, through the DPW director's explanation, that there was a $12 million error in the paperwork that was submitted to the borough, to the Board of Children Freeholders. So that $12 million now has to be rebonded. They underestimated the job. They only put in $8 million versus $12 million. So I just wanted to clarify that the story was not accurate. I was upset because coming from a position where people ran for re-election and got elected based on hammering over Pitt County Park and the mismanagement, supposedly, and the over-expenditures, when I took office in 2013, I requested that we get periodic updates on the expenditures that were going on in the Justice Center so it didn't turn into a financial nightmare for the county. So that's why I wanted to make sure we clarify that. One other thing, or 2 other things really quickly. The MS Walk was held this past Saturday. As I mentioned last month, MS is very near to my family. My father was diagnosed and suffered from it until he passed. I have a 46-year-old brother that suffers from it today. The walk was very successful. There were thousands of people in Overbeck County Park enjoying the weather. Beautiful day, beautiful walk. I want to welcome and invite anyone that would like to join me at the Muck Fest in South Orange on June 13th and 14th at South Mountain Reservation. They can sign on to nationalmssociety.org, register for Team Tenelli. I have about 32 people, my brother included, and we're going to do the mud run. It's not like the mud run you see on TV. It's a much more laid back one. It's fun. There's a lot of breaks. It's only 3 miles. There's obstacles where you can rest. For anyone that'd like to come, everyone's more than welcome to join us. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
If Freeholder Tinelli can clarify his clarification with respect to when that bonding went out. I don't think you clarified that it was not under the current administration.
That's very important. That bonding took place in 2012, is what was identified tonight.
Thank you. Because I was starting to lose hair clumps about that.
Freeholders, Sullivan.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you to Rutherford for having us here. I have just a few things. Piggybacking on what Freeholder Tinelli said, I also have a sister-in-law with MS, so we appreciate all the efforts that go into that walk. It was a very successful event, and Freeholder Tinelli is basically, was along with Freeholder Di Nicola, basically championed that cause, and I thanked him for that. I had the opportunity to present a commendations to the Borough of Bergenfield's boys basketball team that was voted the best team in Bergen County. Congratulations, and the coach was also voted Coach of the Year. So, congratulations to Bergenfield. I attended Earth Day in Paramus, very good event, raised awareness, and it was a very well-attended event, and they did a great job there. We also attended a Maywood Street Fair this past week, and we know there's going to be a lot more street fairs. Hopefully we'll be in Rutherford on a few street fairs, and so I look forward to that. Today, with the Freeholder Board and the County Executive, we attended the flag raising for Israel Independence Day, which I'm sure Freeholder Zora will speak about in her thing, and she's very instrumental in putting that together. I just wanted to 2 last things. It is near the end of the month, but it is Autism Awareness Month still, so keep that in your hearts. And it's also Alcohol Awareness Month, so please everyone be aware if you need help. If you have anyone that needs help, please reach out to us and we'll get you as much help as we can. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder.
Thank you, gentlemen. First of all, I want to echo much of what Freeholder Tonelli said as well. Thank you to Rutherford. This has been very exciting for us as we campaigned. It was very important for us as freeholders to be accessible to the public and to not just kind of sit in the county seat in Hackensack, but actually bring out to individual communities what we do and really get to the heart of what goes on here. And so I'm very grateful to be here in Rutherford tonight, very grateful to hear of all the issues. But I also want to add, Mayor, you should know where we are in Hackensack. If there is ever an issue, it shouldn't take 12 years of your feeling that there's an action. You should come to us. We are your representatives. We are here and eager and active to get ready to work. It should not take us coming to Rutherford for us to become aware of your concerns or your issues. We are always at your service and always will be. As the Chair of Law and Public Safety this past week, we've had much going on. We met with all of the different fire officials, all the chiefs of police, with CSX, talking about the transportation of oil through our communities and making sure that our first responders have up-to-date information so that they are prepared to deal with any emergency. We also had a graduation of the community emergency response teams. It was not the largest class we've had, but really a very energetic one. People who are ready in their communities to respond in emergencies, and this is really what's so much at the heart of what Bergen County is all about. Neighbors, helping neighbors to prepare for what could potentially be the worst situations, but to be there through the good times and as well as the bad. So that was a wonderful situation. And speaking of one of the bads, we were also in Edgewater this week with all of the first responders expressing our appreciation as a county, giving certificates to all of those from all of the communities in Bergen County who responded to that horrific fire back in January. It was our opportunity to say thank you not only to the first responders, not only EMS and the fire and police, but to so many of the businesses, so many of the community organizations who gave so much of their time and their energy to help their neighbors in need. As Freeholder Sullivan mentioned, it is Autism Awareness Month, and we at the county had at the zoo a whole Autism Awareness Day, highlighting so many of the different groups that are helping individuals with autism in the county and providing free day at the zoo for all individuals to be able to appreciate that. Friendship House had their gala, but more importantly, tonight they had their friends and family dinner for the ICON program. For those of you who are not aware of what Friendship House is, it is a sheltered work environment, and one of the things they do is train adults with disabilities to provide career skills in the culinary arts. And this was a delicious meal, but more importantly, a delicious experience, because these individuals put so much pride into what they're doing and having a meaningful experience. So that was wonderful. We had the Party for the Planet at the zoo. We have more Earth Day stuff coming up. We've had a lot of Israel events, Yom HaShoah for Holocaust, as well as the Yom HaZikaron and the Israel Flag Raising for Independence Day 2 today. It's been a very busy week, but I'm over my time. Thank you very much, Chairwoman.
We hope we can.
This evening, I had a temporary dental cap put on yesterday, and as I left the county office building, I popped a piece of gum in my mouth and took the cap with it. Anyway, half hour later, I got it reseated and delighted to be back in Rutherford. Been here many, many times over the last 12 years, not only for Labor Day parades, which are swell, but for all of the dining that's here and the library and the other cultural and civic events that have been made available to us as a county freeholder. Just 3 weeks ago, I spoke at the library on a topic that is of significant interest to me, and that is African literature. I was invited by the library, the Civil Rights Commission, and I talked about African literature as it has existed from roughly 1973 and earlier. And for those of you that don't know anything about African literature, less than 25 words or less. There was so little of it published that we could actually say in 1973 we read African literature, and as you could have said at the time of Shakespeare, we read English literature, all 1,900 books. We talked talk about that, and very vigorous debate and very vigorous discussion. I want to also say that it's with a great deal of pride that I'm back in Rutherford to listen to the concerns of the people here. I've done that, I think, a number of times over the course of the last 12 years, and our system of government works that the freeholders do not propose the legislation that comes from the county executive's office, and we then deal with it. I'm confident that the county executive, in due course, will address with us the fate and the future of the Williams Center, and I'm certain that it's going to be in a way that is going to be useful to the people of Rutherford, because the Williams Center remains now, as it was when I first came to the Freeholder Board, an important part of your culture. It wouldn't be Freeholder if I didn't make a pitch for Bergen Wellness. This is a great card. You can buy eyeglasses at a discount, prescription drugs at a discount, and Freeholder McPherson tells me that she was in Philadelphia with her mother, and she took, this is recently, about 3 weeks ago, she took her mother to get a hearing aid, and Mrs. Pendergast took the Bergen Wellness card that Bergen carries and went from $3,000 hearing aid down to $900. It's a great card, it's a great deal, it's absolutely free to Bergen County residents, and I suggest that you can ask any of your freeholders for it, you can get it from the county website. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder, please.
That's fine. Thank you very much. I want to thank the people of Rutherford for opening up this beautiful, distinguished chamber for our use this evening. I want to thank them for sharing their concerns regarding the Williams Center. So much of what we do is by listening. We have very long-term plans, whether it's Bergen Regional or the county police realignment or budget, which will be presented to this body tomorrow by the county executive. And as chairman of that body, the budget committee is going to be a very rigorous next week or 2 weeks after. But nevertheless, we are your servant. We are your ears and to your concerns. And there's not going to be any promises from this freeholder, but my door will always and is always open from the moment I became a freeholder. There aren't Republican or Democratic issues, there's people's issues. And we can look back and point fingers at this administration or this elected official or the failure of whomever. That's not about why I became a freeholder or a councilman and freeholder. It's to get things done for the people of Bergen County. I think people are tired of that type of partisanship, and I think that's why this board has worked so well over the last few years. So I look forward to working through some of the concerns of the residents of Rutherford and continuing this tour. We should get a bus. and begin to really, and it's more, I think people are sometimes intimidated by coming into a chamber or a building, one Bergen Plaza, ooh, you know, scary place. It's not that scary, but it's different. It's not home for you. So again, I look forward to making more field trips, and maybe we can go to River Edge, which is kind of close to where I live. But nevertheless, thank you very much, Mayor. We've heard your concerns, and we'll get to work first thing tomorrow morning. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll put my timer on so I won't get scolded. I too would like to thank Mayor DeSalvo and members of the council for allowing us to take over your council chambers here and have our first meeting on the road. I do have one complaint. Your seats are very low, and it's very good that we were handed our budgets on the way out of our offices between meetings because I'm sitting on mine. But that's right, keeping spending down. Thank you, Priya. I do want to say that I feel very connected to Rutherford, and I have for a long time. When I was a young mother, I was watching one of my very pregnant friend's children until her mother could come and take over. And when she did come, I had never met her before. We ended up talking for a very long time, and name was Margie Schack, the first woman mayor of Rutherford. And lo and behold, years later, I did run for office. I became the first woman mayor of my town, and now I'm here as a freeholder. So I want to thank many friends who I see in the audience as well. It was certainly an animated discussion here this evening. I do think it's important for us to come to you too, to truly hear and get a sense, the pulse of issues that we wouldn't get in another meeting. And I do look forward to working with all of you and finding a solution for the Williams Center. There are a lot of challenges, and maybe a lot of things did happen in the past, but we need to look forward. I want to draw your attention to a few things that were on our agenda this evening and also have been discussed earlier. Resolution 376 about donor life is such an important issue, and it was reflected in a walk earlier this month at Bergen Community College, which was holding a wellness week. 2,000 people showed up, along with the Lieutenant Governor, for NJ Sharing, which is all about organ donation, spreading the word. And it was families who were either celebrating life of a family member because of an organ donation, or families of donors who had made the painful decision but were there to see what that decision wrought. And it is something that we need to talk about and share more. The following evening, Captain Bill Sheehan gave a presentation in TNEC on the Hackensack River and his position that the river should become a Superfund site. We heard earlier that the Hackensack River does have a lot of issues. The point that was made about the Court Street Bridge is very true. When I was first a freeholder, that bridge had just been completed. It was planned as a movable bridge because the Hackensack is a navigable waterway. But making it a movable bridge added about $9 million to the cost of that project, despite the fact that just upriver is a fixed railroad bridge. So you really can't go anywhere anyway. It's time to bring common sense to decisions and projects throughout the county. And that's one thing I learned very early. Common sense is not that common in government, and we need to make it. I also want to mention that I had been here the last time on March 23rd, when the mayor and council unanimously passed their ADA ordinance and Access for All committee, which will shortly be appointed by the mayor, also called RIFE, Rutherford, it's for everyone. I attended Ramsey's new ADA committee, which is also called RIFE, and they have started on a whole schedule of activities that they're planning for the year. This is something that has really taken off, knowing that autism awareness is April. It's helped to give us some momentum. Last night in Wyckoff, we had over 100 people in the Wyckoff Library for an access meeting, standing room only.
I don't mean to, but...
Oh, sure. There are so many issues, including housing, programs for those over 21 that we hope to address. And that's the end of my report, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. One of the things
that was my timer. I was up.
I'm an equal opportunity time, so
Yes.
I want to thank the mayor and council for allowing us to come here. This is one of the loveliest meeting rooms, and the town of Rutherford is just gorgeous. I'm always very impressed when I come here. As all of my colleagues had mentioned, this is Autism Awareness Month, and the color for autism awareness is blue, hence one of the reasons I'm wearing this jacket. And one of the things that we should be very aware of is that New Jersey has the highest rate of autism being diagnosed. 1 in 48, the numbers fluctuate. But just for everyone's edification, over billions and billions of dollars are spent for therapies and for, remediation and things of that sort. And all